8 dead, 25 injured, according to Fox News, at the deadly Travis Scott concert at Astroworld this past weekend. Countless others injured. It is being called the crowd surge, but there's also talks of needle spiking. So we're going to get into that, and we're also going to talk to a witness who was there. I'm going to bring him on live. And we are going to look at some of the videos he filmed at Astroworld that night that people were dying in the crowd. So a lot to go over. We're going to talk about everything, the energy there, how packed it was, what it was like being in the crowd, what Travis Scott was doing, what the police were doing. And we're going to talk about some of these theories about satanic rituals and all of that. Okay, and we're going to get our witnesses' perspective on it all. So before we jump into that, I want to shout out the sponsor for this video, Keto with Ivory. Keto has been a hot topic for a few years now. Myself and thousands of others have personally experienced weight loss and health benefits thanks to keto, but we have a secret. We use this amazing new keto powder. Keto with Ivory is a premium powdered form of the most ketogenic MCT oil called C8. It helps give you many of the benefits of elevated ketones without having to completely follow the rigid guidelines of a keto diet. Within weeks of taking it, 3 things can happen. Firstly, it really helps control appetite, which helps lose weight. Secondly, you get more energy and just seem ready to take on the day. And third, you can see improvements in your mental focus. So take Keto with Ivory, ketowithivory.com, and watch the fat melt. This Black Friday, you can go to ketowithivory.com for 51% off your orders. Actually, Black Friday all month in November. Check that out, Keto with Ivory. Okay, I want to get into bringing on our guest who was at that concert. So here we go. We're going to welcome in Anthony Toledo. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem.
And what a horrible experience coming out of there and realizing that 8 people had died, 25 had been hospitalized, and countless other injured. First of all, what was it like that night? Did you realize what was happening when you were in the crowd?
No. When we were in the crowd, so we actually started more towards the back of Travis's set. And the reason for that is because there was already, I want to say, so we got to the festival around like 2, and the gates I think opened at 1. And by the time we got there was already people waiting for Travis to come on, so it was already packed. By the time we got over there, right before he started around like 8:30-ish, we started in the back, and then because of the crowd and all the movement, we actually ended up more towards the middle. And from the middle, we didn't really see anything besides, the ambulance coming into the crowd. Well, the ambulance golf cart. And when we saw that, he stopped the show, and our thought, well, at least mine was, okay, maybe someone, broke something, maybe someone passed out, but, we would have never thought, anyone was receiving CPR or actually dying.
So let's look at your video, because you filmed that. You filmed this when Travis Scott stopped rapping.
Yeah.
And it looked like he himself was trying to figure out what was going on as this ambulance was coming on. Let's look at what you have here.
If everybody good, put a middle finger up in the sky. Oh my God. Come on.
So, yeah, he told people to put up a middle finger if things were good in their corner.
Yeah. So as you can see, he did say, what was that? He didn't even know why the ambulance was out there. I mean, no one really knows what he knew, but from what he said, it seemed like he didn't know. He stopped maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 seconds, and then said if everyone's good, put their middle finger up. Of course, everyone did it. Even if they weren't good, the people around probably did it anyways. And then he just continued on with the show. And I can just imagine, for people that weren't good and passed out, once people started jumping around again after that, it probably just got worse.
So let's look at the next video then. What happened next year?
Oh, I'm about to go up a level of disrespect. I'm just one chain away from going heavy. I'm just one angel away from blocking up the devil. Just 1 million away from being on my flow. Too much power, too many hours. All in the day, I send the flowers. Talking rose, I'm talking about her. Acting if she ha ha ha, I'm putting down. Nigga through the hills, I knew she had.
So the big old ambulance is right there.
Yeah, and
What's going on with the show?
Yep, and as you can see, it can't move, and I've seen a lot of comments and people online. They're saying, okay, why are people in the way? Why aren't they moving? But what people don't understand is how packed, like jam-packed, it really was. So, I mean, it is hard for people to get out of the way for that. To go through, and then you get people that are possibly on drugs that don't like you trying to move them out of the way, so they're just going to stay there, and it's sad.
Wow. Yeah, one of your video shots kind of showed from over top how literally shoulder to chest to back, like everyone was just absolutely sandwiched in there. Okay, let's look at the next clip you have. So the jumping when you're that packed in, I can see how someone could get trampled and maybe people don't even realize what's happening.
Yes. And that's another thing is, I don't know who else had this encounter, but there was a time when we were more towards the middle, and I actually not really slipped, but my ankle it snapped and then went right back. Like it was just like a quick like you roll your ankle, and I looked down and there was a hole in the ground actually at the concert. And when I saw that, I kind of I was with my girlfriend and another friend of mine. I told them, hey, watch out because there's a hole right here. So things like that also I could see happening, and you get one person that falls down, it's just a domino effect. And the festival that I went to in 2019, I actually witnessed that time someone falling, and myself and my girlfriend tried to help him up. Everyone else around me, they were just jumping around, and he was getting trampled on, and we tried to help him up, but we actually didn't even end up getting him up. We ended up drifting away just because of like the movement of the crowd. Come to find out, I want to say we did see him get carted away, but who knows how long he was that person was down there. So yeah.
And that was Astroworld 2019.
That was 2019.
Yeah, so this is Travis Scott's third Astroworld. He created this very popular festival. So you've been to all three of them. So describe the difference. Was there a different vibe this year?
I want to say it did. It did feel a little different. This one was definitely a lot more crowded. It was also like the youngest crowd I've seen. Well, personally, online I've seen there's different ranges of ages at his concerts, but this one I witnessed, I want to say the kid was maybe 8 to 10 years old, in the middle of the crowd, mind you, not just like in the back. He was in the middle of his crowd, and he was on his parent's shoulder, because anyone does anything to try to go viral these days. So he had the kid on his shoulder, and Travis did end up pointing him out, like in the crowd, the young kid. And I also saw 2 kids walked in front of me, and I asked them how old they were, and they told me they were 14. And I don't know. I couldn't see myself letting my kids especially that young, go to festivals like this. Even though it does say all ages, I feel like at every festival, not just Travis's, I feel like there's always drugs. There's different things there. So why would you want to put your kid in that kind of environment? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Travis Scott has a young fan base,
Mm-hmm.
but he does have some hardcore rap, which has some fans that are rough around the edges too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to show you. Here is I'm sharing the screen here so you can see county officials listing the deaths. The names of the victims have now been released. You see the youngest victim there is 14 years old. Just something else. Yeah, everybody is so young there. And I read somewhere else that one of the hospitalized victims was as young as 10. It's pretty scary. Okay, so let's look at your next video. So that one overhead shot right there showed how absolutely packed people were, absolutely shoulder to shoulder, chest to back. You could not budge.
No, and that's another thing I wanted to point out as well. Is I've seen comments about people saying, okay, well, why didn't he just end the show early? And I have different views on that just because I know how jam-packed it is, and I was there. You get everyone trying to leave early, it's gonna probably be even worse with people getting trampled on, especially if they know people are dying in the crowd. So
cell phones weren't even working, you were saying?
Yeah,
right?
there was no service. That's why we didn't even know the extent of this until I want to say either we were in the Uber on the way home or when we got home. We had no idea. No one was talking about it. We didn't see anything on our way out, and he ended his set. I mean, what I would see as normal. He just said, hug the person next to you or something along those lines, and everyone just left after it. But
nobody knew at that time what was going down.
Well, at least no one near me. We were on the right side of the stage. We went to the left side at first, which in my opinion was so packed. I mean, the whole
reports where the left side was the worst.
Yeah, the whole set was, it was packed, but we went to the left side, and I remember, I was like, okay, let's just stay here in the back. And my girlfriend was like, no, we need to go to the right side. And, we went to that side. We started in the back, and with all the pushing and stuff, we got like more towards like the middle area. But yeah, from what I see, I think mostly everything happened on the left side of the stage.
That's crazy because you're on the right and it's still jam packed.
Yeah, it's still, yeah.
These reports about rushing the stage were like, Travis incited people to rush the stage. How do you rush the stage when you're already shoulder to shoulder, back to front, as far back as you were?
Mm-hmm.
That's something to think about. Did Travis really incite people to do that? Although you talked about some of Travis's lyrics in his rap songs. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so one of his songs, Stargazing, it says, it's not a mosh pit if there's no injuries. And people hear that and they take it to the extreme. Like some of the mosh pits I saw, like people are just like, I personally do think a lot of it is a mixture of like just drugs and just how many people were there. I personally don't think there was any injecting or anything like that. I know they said that there was, but I I don't know. I have different views on that. I think that could be some kind of like cover up, but that's just my opinion.
So let me share one of the reports you're referring to. There's this talk about needle spiking is what they're saying here. Newsweek here, if you can see that, Newsweek says, what is needle spiking? Astroworld drugging reports investigated after tragic event. So apparently one of the security guards there reported that he believed he had been stuck in the back of his neck with a needle. Houston police said this in their press conference over the weekend. And then a medical analysis of his neck showed that he had a needle mark there, and they actually had to administer Narcan to revive him. So he's saying, I'm a security guard. I didn't inject myself. So perhaps some people this is happening to. And apparently it's a new thing, like drink spiking, except this is just randomly jabbing people. It says needle spiking similar to drink spiking, but instead the victim's drink being dosed with a drug, a needle is used to prick an unsuspecting person. Drugs such as the anesthetic ketamine and even the highly powerful opioid fentanyl have been reported in needle spiking cases. So, yeah, that's. But you're thinking that's too far out.
I do. I mean, I want to know why it was just that one, or if there's more reports, why aren't those out?
Media CNN is just reporting it's going to take weeks to know the actual cause of death of these 8 people who died at the concert. Blood analysis to look for drugs can take 4 to 6 weeks typically. So that'll be very interesting. There's reports of like a 20% increase in fentanyl overdoses in this pandemic, and drugs are popular at concerts. So I think someone was doing some drugs in one of your videos. Show the next video here.
Hold on. Turn the lights on. I think I see somebody in the tree. Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on. Make some noise for my boy right there, hanging in the tree right there. Make some noise. Everybody put a middle finger up to the sky, because my boy ready to rage.
Okay, so you shot that video. That's a really interesting video because a lot of people are looking at these other videos. There's some videos that actually show like bodies or unconscious people being surfed out right below Travis, and he's not noticing it. But here is a point where he stopped the concert to notice someone climbing in a tree way off yonder.
Yeah.
He's not noticing this person on the ground being resuscitated below him.
I when you're in the crowd in the moment, you don't, unless you're near what's going on, you don't actually know. Like obviously I was recording, and I had no idea, other things were going on. But, as I go back and I noticed that, it was just weird to me how, he noticed, okay, this kid, the tree, it's dark back there. Yeah, they put the lights on, but okay, if they put the lights on, how did you not see someone getting CPR on the floor? And one of the other videos that you're probably about to show, he's singing and humming and looking directly in that direction of where the person is getting CPR. So it's just bizarre to me that he didn't.
This one video has been shared a lot, so I think I have fair use to show this one that actually has someone being crowd surfed out. So I tried to blur the person's face here, but let's take a look. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, and you had a similar angle, and you had some other videos that were very graphic that I can't show due to legal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But bodies, there were 2 or 3 bodies basically right next to each other
Mm-hmm.
in one area.
Yep.
And so it's like, what happened right there? The surge must have been, I don't know if it was the crowd surge, was just so compact there. Some people reported not being able to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
How, were you able to breathe the whole time?
Yeah. But like I said, like, well, I guess I didn't mention this, but the last one I went to, I did actually have to leave that one early in 2019 due to me not being able to breathe, and getting out of that was really hard. Like already not being able to breathe, plus trying to go through everyone that's still raging. Um, but this one I was able to, and whenever I felt like I couldn't, I kind of just thought back to like last time, how bad I was, and I was just calming myself down. I was like, trying to create room for myself, and that's what you have to do in those situations. Like when you feel like you can't breathe, you're about to pass out. But
You actually have to like
yeah,
stop
you do. But some,
panicking. You're supposed
yeah,
to be having fun at these concerts.
yeah, no.
Wow.
But some people, clearly they couldn't do that, and it's due to some places were just more jam packed than others, and it depends on which side you're on, who you're next to. Yeah, it's really unfortunate for
So
all the people who passed.
okay, I'm going to show Travis's Instagram right here. Here you have his that's his Instagram. He posted that the day of this tragic incident where 8 people died, 25 hospitalized. This is actually the album cover of his latest songs that he dropped on Friday. He dropped 2 songs, and a lot of people think this is very dark, eerie album cover. It also went on the front page of the Houston Chronicle, the paper of Houston. It says, when the end arrives, it's really the beginning. So this is all about like death and crossing over to the other side. And now there's a lot of people talking about like, wow, did he somehow manifest these tragedies through invoking dark forces with this new music theme? What's your take on that?
Personally, I'm not one to partake in conspiracy theories. I don't really believe in them. I know people have different views on it, but I don't think that had anything to do with what happened.
The energy there didn't feel darker.
I mean, not from the last one. He had fire. I mean, yeah, the visuals were different, but he's just a different artist, and I've been a fan for a while, and I noticed that he's different from other artists, like his, kind of like Kanye West. Kanye West is really different as well. That's kind of like what Travis Scott is.
Yeah. So people are talking about his shirt too. See his shirt in this People magazine publishing an image from the concert. So that is this is a line of little blue people walking through a door. They come out red with like flames on their heads. It's like, are they crossing into hell? Is Travis talking about crossing into hell? And is this a bad picture for manifesting something?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a good look, but again, I'm not one to believe in conspiracy theories, so I don't really have any comments based off of that.
Yeah. So as far as you and your friends, everyone made it out okay?
Yes, we all made it out just fine.
All right. Wow. So basically this was not the first time Astroworld has been like this for you? You had worse trouble breathing in 2019.
Yeah, I had worse trouble in 2019, but at that one, we actually ended up closer. But I think because of how jam-packed this one was, there's a point where it just comes to like a standstill. You can't really move any closer than what you are. And that's where I can see, is shorter people, whatever the case may be, maybe getting suffocated, and it's hard for people to move in those situations.
Exactly. All right. Well, I appreciate your time here. Yeah, I was looking at drugabuse.gov. They talk about back in 2013, they were talking about 21% of music festival goers using illegal drugs and people overdosing at events like Electric Zoo. Back then, this is not the first time that there's been the issues of overdosing, and that's one of the things being explored with these deaths. How did these people die? The autopsies, which will take weeks, will help determine that, whether these people were crushed so that they couldn't breathe, or whether these were drug overdoses. So time will tell, but concerts are dangerous things. And I really appreciate your insight and your sharing of your videos. And again, we couldn't share everything. It's a little graphic, but I'm glad that you are okay. And we definitely pray for the families of those 8 and the other 25 hospitalized. Thank you so much for your time, Anthony Toledo.
No problem. Thank you, Ivory.
All right. Bye.